Psychotherapist Robi Ludwig joins me now to talk about this. That's what stuns me. Just the hypocrisy. And he was very effective in protecting women. I have like pages and pages of legislation that he either sponsored when he was a senator back in 2010, or things that he did as the DA that helped women. And it just comes as such a shock.
You know, it's very hard to understand, but sometimes with professional men, they categorize. They can make categories. So professionally, they're fighting on behalf of what they theoretically believe in. But when it comes to their personal life, they really experience women very differently. And I think that's what we're seeing with Eric Schneiderman, and it's not that uncommon with powerful men.
So his ex-wife is stepping forward, and, you know, she's married to him for 35 years. She says he was a great husband. Of course, they're divorced, but he said he was a great husband.
He obviously wasn't that great a husband, right?
But she says she never experienced any behavior like this. So could a man be different in the relationship with his wife and children than he is outside of the marriage?
Yes, and we also don't know how powerful Eric Schneiderman was at that point in the marriage. Sometimes power for certain men is connected with sex, and it gets them to experience their world very differently. So a powerful man all of a sudden just sees the end game. They underestimate some of their risk-taking behavior. They lose their empathy. They can objectify women. So they somehow make it okay for themselves to behave badly, or they sexualize women in situations and think they can get away with it. In some cases, like with Eric Schneiderman, he might have felt that all of his public work was a way to undo his personal impulses, and that's where we see the hypocrisy, right? So his public life was about undoing some of his primitive impulses, which had a lot of anger and rage towards women, and for whatever reason his ex-wife might be feeling protective of him, and that's why we're hearing her protect him right now.
He says that it was just role-playing. It was sexual games, you know. And Ronan Farrow, the guy who broke the story for the New Yorker, says this was not a 50 Shades of Grey kind of thing, right?
Well,
he slapped one woman so hard she had to seek medical care.
Yeah.
And he also choked that very same woman until she couldn't breathe. She definitely did not want that kind of role-playing to go on.
Now, it's very possible that Mr. Schneiderman justified his behavior in that way and felt that he was role-playing, but we're seeing a violent fantasy when it comes to sex, and that underscores a certain belief about women, sexuality, and his role in relation to women. Now, does he justify it himself? He probably knows better, and he's trying to make an excuse, but no, what we're seeing is dangerous. What we're seeing is violent, and it really underscores a belief system that's very, very frightening and scary. And it is interesting how his public life was dedicated to protecting women, so I wonder if some way it was like an undoing. He gave himself permission to behave very badly in his personal sexual life because he felt he was fighting for the greater good on a broader scale.
Wow. Robi Ludwig, thanks so much.